There are bowls there still up there, right?
All right. It is 12 o'clock and I want to respect your time. I know that you are doing this voluntarily just to grow professionally. So that is outstanding. I really appreciate you being here and I hope it's well worth your time. This is a really fun tool to use. My name is Ann Harley and I'm with the Professional Learning Department here at ESU 3. And my colleague Adam Larson is on with us just to kind of help me manage Zoom. If you have any questions, anything you want to throw in chat, just go ahead and throw that in and Adam can monitor that for me. Or please feel free to unmute.
Yeah.
All right. Um, can I just see maybe a show of hands? How many people have ever used Pear Deck? Or thumbs up? I know some people don't have their cameras on. I get that. All right. So it looks like it's pretty new to most of you. Thanks, Brandon. Gotcha. Mallory, thank you. So for some of you, thanks, Rachel. This might be a little repetitive, but maybe I can throw in some new tips and tricks along the way. If you know how to make Google Slides, you know how to make Pear Deck. So I'm going to be showing you, my first set of slides is kind of a third grade example, but it's just an example. So for those of you who teach, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, please don't take this to lean towards that this is just a third, fourth grade activity. It's just how I created my model, okay? So we're just going to check out a reading example that I made. And you start again, like I said, by making just making Google Slides. You guys have access to this whole presentation, I believe. I did send it to, is it Angie at Elkhorn, I think? And so I believe you have access to these slides. So you can always click on this handy dandy link right here, which will also show you how to create a Pear Deck. But it's a really super easy YouTube, but we will walk through it today as well. This one is has a text that is embedded online. If you had kids that maybe for some reason in Elkhorn, I don't know if you guys are having kids share books and touch books and stuff or not, but you certainly could use something like this by embedding a text. Like this one was free on Epic. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Sumo Kitty. I had never, but it is adorable. It's a level N book, super, super cute. And so you could actually have the kids read the book first online with you if you wanted to, or otherwise, of course, they would have their own book to read at your table or however you're doing that. So when you create a Pear Deck, you create a slide with any questions that you would want, just like you would like with Kahoot, for example. And what I have done here is I'll show you what it looks like on the teacher's side and what it looks like on the student side. And the students have their devices open and they're following along with you. And I'm going to show you how they join. And so they have their iPad or their Chromebook. You could do this on a phone, whatever device. They're joining just like they would join a Kahoot. And so I'm going to be showing you what it looks like on your slide and what it looks like on their slide. You can see down here that there's a little, the little Pear Deck guy is down there, and it is prompting the kids to write a response. And so you might think, well, where do they write a response? Well, on their slide, they see this. So they see your slide and they have a spot where they can respond. There's all kinds of different ways you can have kids respond, and I'm going to show all of them to you here. And this is all in the free version. So you can have them type written responses. You could have them drag and drop. You can have them enter numbers. You can have them draw. And so there's all kinds of different responses, which I like because, of course, Kahoot is just multiple choice questions, and this is a little more interactive. Oh, and the kids can't work ahead of you. They can only see the slide that you have up. So it won't move on until you move on. And then I will show you how you can check on their responses. So the child types a response here. And then on your screen, at the bottom of your screen, you will see where you can lock responses so the kids can't change their answer or add anything else. And then you will show responses. What I would do before I would lock responses is I would give them a little heads up, like I'm gonna lock screens in 5, 4, 3, so they know it's coming. Once you hit lock, they see that on their screen, your teacher has locked. So then you will show the responses, and on your screen, and when you're displaying this on your whiteboard or whatever, this is what you will display. You can see that it's anonymous, so the kids feel safe with that. And you can see that you will be able to, in a written response, you will see just a list that you would scroll through and see all of the different responses. As with any good check for understanding, it's not just about displaying the responses, but it's about facilitating the conversation. So if you have kids that are working remotely, which I know you're getting ready to do, you still can do this. You can still have kids can still be working with you from home, they're participating from home, and you're still facilitating conversation, but it's going to be, unmuting kids or however you want to. If you want kids to chat, which takes a little bit longer. But for this one, my question was, what do you know about sumo? So I'm just tapping into some prior knowledge. And some kids will know it's about a sport. I might prompt, whoever put sport in there, do you want to tell us more about that? What kind of sport do you think it is? Somebody thought it was a type of cat. What a good guess. Why would you think that? And then somebody's probably going to pop up, whether it was that kid or not, and say, because I saw a cat on the cover. So Pear Deck is a great tool for checking for understanding, but remember, it's all about following it up with conversation and expounding and getting kids to explain their answer and defend their answer and provide evidence. So of course, sumo, I'm not saying I would use this particular video. I'm just using it with you guys, with my adults. But with Pear Deck, of course, we would have to go through the whole uniform kind of thing with this, right? You can put in a slide of information that doesn't have any questions attached to it. And so they can just watch a video. And when you embed a video using a YouTube clip, some like this is the actual whole clip up here, and I want to say it's like 5 minutes long, and you can edit it down to be as short as you want it when you embed it into a Google slide. And I can help you with that if you are not familiar with that. So it will start and stop exactly where you want it to. So now I'm guessing that my kids didn't know a lot about sumo. Now they see this, they've built their knowledge up a little bit. And now my slide says, now what do you know about sumo? Again, this indicates it's a written response. You can see down there at the bottom where it says, write your response. And again, this is what the student sees. So they will respond. And now they have built up some more knowledge. You will again lock screens and show responses. And this is what you will display and talk about. Another opportunity you could use is drag and drop. And they have all kinds of different drag and drop options. You can drag and drop pins. You can drag and drop dots. You can drag and drop numbers. And I will show you some of those things as we go. And so on this one, you can see underneath the map where it says that it tells me the 2 icons that I have selected for them to drag and drop, a red pin and an orange pin. And the directions are at the top, but there's nothing kids can do with this until they see that they have an interactive slide here. So now they can drag and drop their pins. And as soon as you lock screen and hit show response, you would be able to see all the kids' responses. And so this particular one was just one kid responding, but when you have 18 kids, you will see 2 sets or 18 sets of pins, and you'll be able to see at a glance how many of my kids get this. Like this particular kid put the red pin on the United States and the orange pin on Japan. So maybe just a quick reteach on, be sure you read your, I have a guess of understanding there, but just reading directions carefully, like good teachers do. Now I'm going to just show you an example of going right back into the text. And I have just embedded this page right into my Google slide. So if they don't have access to their book, or if they're like, I left mine at home, or I left mine at school, they don't have access to it. If you want them to, first of all, if it's an online book, they can access it anytime. But you can also just embed that one page that you want them to address right here on the slide. And this one is a multiple choice option. Again, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you will see that the kids are seeing that I'm going to have a multiple choice question. You can see that there's no multiple choice showing up on my slide. It says choose an example that shows a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. You don't see any of the multiple choice options here, but you do on their screen. Now you absolutely could put those on your slide if you wanted to. You don't have to, because it will show up on their screen, and it will be, when you enter it into Pear Deck, you'll be able to see it in the notes of your slide. By the way, Pear Deck does not allow you to select the right answer like Kahoot does, or quizzes where it says, pick the right answer so that you know as you're going through. So you may want to keep a handwritten answer key for yourself so that you can be sure and say, well, this one was the third one or whatever. So you know exactly how to correct them if they were wrong. And now again, where you would lock your screens, and now on a multiple choice, this is what you're going to see. You'll see the different multiple choice options and how many kids answered which one. Of course, I only had one kid in my class, so that's all we see there. And again, then you're going to have that conversation about why did you pick training wheels? Why does that make sense to you? And then whichever kid talked about diving into the deep end of the pool. So having them defend it, they might have read something into it that we never would have considered. So much of it is about the conversation. This is an example of a write out of the text, and it refers to a Japanese word, and it's asking what it means. And this book shows what they have definitions of the Japanese language. So again, lock your responses, and this is what you would see. And again, for the student that wrote eat was in great big letters on that page, but you would have to take them back to show this is how this book works. This book shows the Japanese word with a definition. This is something you could use with word work, phonics. For upper grades, you could do something like this with Greek roots or Latin roots, suffixes, prefixes, root words, whatever. And so this one is asking which word on this page, again, I embedded the page onto the slide, has the same E sound you hear in eat. Again, you don't see the choices. You could put them there if you wanted to, but your kids will see it on their side. So only one of those has a long E sound. And again, lock screens and show responses. This one just talks about word choice and kind of author's craft. And it asks about why would the author have misspelled perfect? And again, they show a written response. And then you're going to get all kinds of great thoughts and ideas here. And again, if you have 20 kids in your class, you would just keep scrolling and the screen would just continue to look like those little talking balloons. This is a drawing slide. And again, on the bottom left-hand side, you can see that the kids are being prompted to draw on this one. And this one talks about how the mice made a comeback. And it's showing, asking the kids to circle the comeback. And so what your kids see is a choice of colors here. They have different tools they can use. They have an eraser, and then they will pick a color and whatever they're prompted to do, if it's to circle or underline or whatever. And then what you will see is You might see circles in all three areas. Who knows where you're going to see your circles? Doesn't matter. It's going to be about the conversation and why they selected that particular part of the page to represent comeback. Here is another example of drag and drop. And this one is they are going to drag a dot, and it says to put a dot on the Japanese word that means push with hands. Well, this is kind of interesting because they would actually have to go back into the text to find which one is push with hands. It was defined earlier in the text, or maybe they have an amazing memory and they might remember it. And of course, using picture cues. But we've got three different Japanese words here. And so they're going to see this on their slide, just a red dot just kind of hanging out. And they're going to drag it and drop it. And this particular student got it correct. That was the right answer. So when you go to your response screen, whoops. When you go to your response screen, you might see a whole cluster of red dots on that one area, or maybe you're going to see a couple dots on that word and a couple dots on another word and a couple dots on another word. And so a great teaching point for the kids that got it correct would be, how did you know what was that? And they might say, I went back in my text. And for the other kids, they just took a guess. And so talk with them about why was that an educated guess. So what did we learn? This is what you will see on your end. This is what kids will see on their end, a spot to write a written response. And what a great conversation. All kids are going to glean something different from the story. And so this gives you a chance to make sure that kids were, are they thinking along the right path here? Are they understanding the theme of the story? This is an example of using a scale, and you can have a scale from anything you want, from 0 to 100, whatever, anything you want. And you can just say enter a number. You don't have to have a scale. And I'll show you how that will look on your end. This one is just asking kids to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on a scale of 1 to 5. How do they like the book, basically? Would they recommend this book to other people? This is what they see. They will just enter a number there between 1 and 5. And then when you display your results, I like this. It shows you from 0 to 5. This particular kid gave it a 4. But now if you have 18 kids, you're going to have 18 dots all along the spectrum here. And if you have kids, that are in the 1-ish range, what a good opportunity for you to ask them, what would make it better? Why would you like it better? What could the author have done to make it more interesting to you or whatever? And then your high ranking kids, you can ask them, what did you love about it? What would you say to your friends about it? So again, this is not intended to be a slideshow that you would use with your kids. It's strictly for me to just show you kind of the tools that are available. I'm going to stop there for a second and ask if there's any questions so far. You can unmute if you have any questions. That was 20 minutes of me babbling.
Not babbling, providing very, very great information.
There's my friend that gives me coffee. Am I like the luckiest colleague ever?
Wow.
This next part just kind of shows an upper grade example. Same kind of stuff. I'm going to pop through it really, really quickly. This one I used read.gov right now is offering a lot of free texts, a lot of classic texts. And so I'm going to be showing you how we start to create a Pear Deck in just a second, but this gives you a little clue. Once you've created your slides, you go to the top and you click add-ons, and then you will see this Pear Deck for Google Slides add-ons. That's when you get to start crafting the different kinds of questions that you want. I will show you how to do that, so not to worry. I kind of gave you the big picture of what it looks like when it's all done. We're working backwards, and I'm going to show you how to create it. This is when you're ready to start your lesson. And You can have kids do it at their own pace if you want to do it asynchronously. Perfectly fine. However, you're going to miss out on all that great conversation. So um, I I'm a promoter of the instructor pace, but you do whatever fits for whatever you need. When your kids log in to their device, again, Chromebook, iPad, iPhone, whatever, they go to joinpd.com and they will type in this code. And it always has some kind of funky little mnemonic device there that some kids think is kind of cute and fun. I'm going to have you guys participate in a Pear Deck in just a little bit. So you're going to be able to see what this is like on their end. Again, I put the full text in here of the secret garden. And for the older kids, I included a standard. You certainly wouldn't need to do that. And again, you can see that I did not include the multiple choice options here, but they see it on their end. I'm popping through this really fast. Here's where the kids will see that your student has locked the slide. So that's what the kids see. And there's our responses. On this one, I did create it, so I had the selections up on my slide. It really makes no difference because, well, sorry, I lied to you. On this one, it does because I forgot it was a drawing slide, not a multiple choice slide. My apologies. On this one, I'm having them circle the correct answer. And so it's no different than selecting a multiple choice answer. It's just something different to kind of change up the synapses for the kids. Just something to amp up a little engagement. Once you lock the screen, you'll be able to see all of these different choices, how kids responded. And one kid underlined instead of circled, but you know, not important. Writing responses. There's a multiple choice. I didn't include it on this slide here, but they see it on theirs. This one, I included some grammar. And so it's circling the noun, underlying the verb, star the adjective. And so they get an opportunity to draw. And this is kind of when you might want to be given that countdown to lock screens because they're going to be messing around with what color they want and which tool they want. So you use your teacher decision brain on how much time you want to give them on something like that. Here's just a vocabulary where they're going to drag and drop their red dot and you'll be able to see where they all landed. And all three kids in our class got that one right. Again, how do you want to rate this book? And so I'd be interested in this guy and this guy mostly. All right, it's time for us to Pear Deck. So I'm hoping you guys have a phone or something else with you because you're going to log on and play some Pear Deck with me. Okay. So you will see that this is just another Google slide deck. That's all it is. And I'm going to go up here to add-ons. Everybody good with that? Deb, I see you and you're live. Do you see where I am? Okay, thanks.
We got you.
Thank you, Adam. So we're going to go to add-ons. Me, not you. And I'm going to Pear Deck, open Pear Deck add-on. Because you're my kids right now. And so as a teacher, that's how easy it is to get started. You just open up your slideshow. You don't need to like log into a different site or anything. You just go to your slideshow and go add on and then Pear Deck and then hit start lesson. We're going to do, this is where you get to choose. If you want to do it asynchronously, that's fine, but I want to have the conversation. So this is exactly what your kids will see. So I'm going to ask you to get on your phone or whatever extra device you have and go to joinpd.com. And I know that Pear Deck is an allowable app for you guys to use in Elkhorn. Ooh, my first student is already connected.
And if I had a classroom full of kids, is there an easier way to connect them to the Pear Deck than putting it, than them going to joinpd.com and putting in the code? Is there a faster way to do that?
Yep, thanks. You could just give the kids the link right here and they could link directly to it, or you could create a QR code. You could create a link in Google Classroom or whatever your LMS is. Hopefully that answers that question. Thank you for asking. All right, 8 students are in. We're gonna start. Let's Pear Deck. So you guys should all see this on whatever device you're holding. And you can't go anywhere until I go somewhere. So what I've done on this slideshow is I just put together a whole bunch of mishmash of social emotional, math, reading. I did a little PE slide and I've used that lightly. Just so you can see how it can fit all content areas. I also want you to know that these slides I plucked straight from the Pear Deck library. They have tons of ready-made slides ready for you across content area. The Sumu Kitty and the Secret Garden slides, I made all of those. I created those myself. These all came from the Pear Deck library, so it's up to you. So on this one, if you want to just check in how kids are doing first thing in the morning or coming in after lunch or whatever, I would like for you to be the students and respond if you're in a good space, ready for learning. And I'm going to give you 4 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and I'm locking screens. And you should see that you're locked now. And then I'll show responses. And I'm happy to see that most people are up here. And I would definitely say, you know what, if you want to talk to me after class or during a break, if there's something I need to talk with you about, please let me know. I don't know who that is. But if that seems like a kid that might be reaching out for something and maybe they would take advantage of having the opportunity to talk about it. All right. So now we just move on. And this time you get to draw. So even if you just want to draw little stick figures, you sure can. What was easy about your morning? What was interesting or challenging? What do you wish never happened this morning? And we are not judging any art here. So just so that you guys get the idea on how that works. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna lock screens. And so I just made a note up here in the corner that Pear Deck can kind of fit the need of those creators too. Sometimes those really creative kids are like, oh, if I have to do one more multiple choice. So it gives them another way to, show their understanding. I cannot wait to see your responses. Oh, love. Driving, I think. I'm not judging, I'm not. So you can see, oh, this looks like somebody is really doing a little, not Picasso. What was that guy's name that splattered paint everywhere?
Jackson Pollock?
Yeah. Coffee, sing it, my friend. Ooh.
I cannot connect yet.
Oh,
so you need to slow down a little if you want me to start connecting, because I'm at school. We're using my fast phone that typically is, but it's not connecting still.
I am so sorry. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, I tried to chat it, but you are like me that you don't, when you're teaching, you don't even see the chat. So I figured I unmute myself for a second.
I'm so glad you did. Thank you very much. And by the way, while you're trying to connect, if that happens, the code remains right up here for your kids. Will be right here in the corner the whole time. So if a kid, you're doing your remote instruction and a kid jumps on late, they can always go to join.com and plug in that code at any time. And I am so sorry. I did not see who was telling me that.
It-
Did you, Adam?
Yeah, so we,
It's me, Pia. Now
Oh,
it's
Pia.
wanting me to do two-step verification going. It's not letting me even get because I pushed that I'm using the school webpage and now it's wanting the verification. So just go on without me. I'll just watch instead of.
well, and this will be recorded and something that is shared with you. So it can be something you go back and do with once we're done here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to do it, but with this verification and all of that, it's going to take way too long. So just keep on going without me and I'll just watch.
Okay. Well, Pia, you and I can certainly meet later, and you and I can have our own Pear Deck session too.
I had to open my email and then it asked me if I was okay with the verification and then it let me in on my phone. So maybe
Good.
try your email.
I appreciate that. Go on, she says. Okay. Thank you for that information. I'm glad to know that. Okay. So we will keep moving. So this is just an example of visualizer, how you visualizers could kind of benefit. And this doesn't really, I mean, have anything academically involved. I just wanted to show you another option where you can put information on a slide and there's nothing for you to do right now. There's nothing for you to interact with except for it says you have 15 seconds to memorize the image. So you're not clicking on anything. Oops, sorry about that. That timer won't work. Excuse me. And I'm just putting this up here so that you can, like, if you just wanted, oh, jeepers. That was my timer. You can put up a page of text. You could put up a problem that you want them to just think about for a minute with nothing to answer. So you can have a slide where they don't have to do anything yet until you move to the next slide. And then on this one, it's a written response where it just asks you to just describe as much as you can about the picture. And again, this design I plucked from the library from Pear Deck, and you can change the words, whatever you want the words to be. So if you just want to type in something super quick, and I'll lock screens in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you go through here, you know, some kids, hi. Some kids will just be like, oh, I missed that. And you can always go back. You can always go back in your slideshow, just like you would with Google Slides, and they can add. Okay. All right, this one is asking for you to use your scientist mind. Will full cans of diet soda and regular soda both float in a tub of water? Yes or no? And you're going to drag your dot. And of course, it's a hypothesis, so there's no right or wrong answer. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, look at this. We've got a mix here and a mix here. Very exciting. Okay. So then what you can do is, of course, you could do a real experiment if you were in person, or you could
Absolutely.
adjust,
So this is kind of fun. Just to take a water
plug
bottle
in a
and
video.
notice all of our cans of
Would
soda
you like
just
to
have a
see?
nice variety of Coke and Diet Coke
Right.
and Pepsi
Now you
and
gotta know,
whatnot.
don't you?
None of them have been opened.
No.
Right, so they're all the time the
Unopened.
same. All right?
Okay.
So
So I
question for you.
started
By
the
taking
video.
those
I didn't have it
unopened
starting at the
focus-
very beginning.
Sync.
What?
I plugged it in to
I don't
start
know.
at
Okay, there's stuff in it.
about
Right.
47
Okay,
seconds.
good. Right, nice. How about big K? Float or sink?
I'm gonna say sink.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Now, did you have parents that used to throw the can into the swimming pool and then you had to dive down?
Oh, that's
That kept
part
us
of the
busy.
big
Yes.
swimming, yeah.
And
Are you
so
talking
you can
about
imagine the
fun, too?
kids are
Diet Coke is exactly the same
chattering
thing.
about what's gonna happen. He's getting ready to throw in a Diet Coke.
I think.
Absolutely, so that one will sink as well. And then if we try the Diet Coke, there must be
Wait a
an air
minute.
bubble. That's what it is. There's an air bubble. It's
All right, I'm gonna
interesting.
keep
Yeah, out
you
of all these here, which one?
hanging in suspense to see what happens with the rest, but I think you have a pretty good idea. And again, that just gives you an idea of how you can embed video to interact and engage kids. This is just a number question. So just throw in any number you want and I'll show you what it looks like. A little math estimation. Notice on this one, I don't have any kind of a scale. So on the two previous examples, I had a scale from 1 to 5. On this, it's just a number. And so we might have anything from 0 to 4,000. So I'll lock in 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that scale is mostly around 20, it looks like. And somebody thinks a whole bunch. So I'm glad whoever did that, thanks for being the outlier so that we could see a good range there. Appreciate it. So you can see your scale, can just leave it wide open. You don't have to have any finite scale. All right, let's do some STEM work. You are going to drag and drop graph -3 and 4. Or it's not drag and drop, it's draw. Sorry about that. No judging. We'll lock screens in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is what it's going to look like. If you have them draw, you will see that I'm scrolling through to show you where they all are. If you do a drag and drop dot, you will see them all in one, all on one slide. Or you can show it as a grid so you can see at a glance all of them. Or you can have them all overlap by this little icon which says overlap. It will default to this guy. So you can change these layouts at any time. Good job on that, you guys. This is my real super duper stretch on a PE question. I want to know what Adam would answer to this one. Adam, are you playing? Good job. By the way, you're not going to want to give your kids too much time to Google the answer. We'll lock in 4, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like most of you selected option A, which was, I got to unlock. Tom Osborne, most of you thought Tom Osborne. And out of these choices, it is actually Bear Bryant. And Nick Saban are tied, but Nick Saban wasn't on our list. So I kind of, but you can, then this is the article that shows that I won't take our time to go to that article, but you can certainly attach a link and have kids go and find more information on that. All right, so now you guys are going to drag numbers 1 through 5, put them in the correct order, 1 through 5, on steps to create a Pear Deck. What do you do first? What do you do second? Five, four, three, two, one. And so we've got numbers kind of all over the place, which is perfectly fine because we're just practicing and playing and dabbling in this, but you can see that that is an option. Sequencing things by dragging numbers. So now I want you to just circle at this time. How are you feeling about Pear Deck? Circle one of those icons. And we'll lock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy, happy. I'll take that. Good, good, good. And again, you can change it to see it at a glance like that, or if you really want it to be kind of a cluster, you can do it that way. All right. You guys have done an amazing job. Now we are going to create, you guys are going to create a Pear Deck. And so in order to do that, you're going to have to open a new tab and go to your Google Slides. And I'm going to be right here while you're doing that. And Adam is here too. And this certainly does not have to be a Pear Deck that you're going to be using with your kids. It's just for you to get comfortable with the tool. Go up to a blank presentation. And I'm not going to worry about themes or anything right now. And we'll just, you can call it a Pear Deck practice run, whatever. And maybe we can do, let's see, we've got about 15 minutes. You can create as many as you can at this time, even if you say can create 3 slides. You don't need to have all of these background boxes, by the way, unless you want to have them, just like with any other slide deck, create it the way you want to create it. And so, I don't know, Adam, give me a topic.
A topic?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
How about polar bears?
Great, thanks. I know a ton about that. You can go Command, by the way, if you want to get rid of everything on a slide at once, Command A or Control A, depending on your machine, will highlight everything and then you just delete it. Just one quick step. But maybe I want to keep those there. So you guys can create whatever fits your line of teaching. Polar bears. It's great, Adam. Super random.
Wow. What you get?
That's what you get. I asked, huh? And then you can insert images through insert an image here. So you can upload from your computer or from the web or from your drive or from your photos. If you want to make sure that you're not having any copyright issues, you can go down here to the bottom where it says explore, and it will pull up things that are already a-okay to use and not worry about any copyrights. Images. And
Can you show the Explore again? Because I
Yes,
was trying to work on mine.
Yes. At the very, very bottom, if you're not in present mode, right?
Uh-huh.
At the very bottom, can you see it, Adam?
Oh, okay.
What I'm showing you? Okay.
Yep. We
Yep.
got it.
All right, down there in speaker notes.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. You can put your Bitmoji in here. Did you know, by the way, if you're using Bitmoji on your laptop, you can put in any word and it will attach to your Bitmoji. So look at all the things that just came up with polar bears. Kind of a fun tip. Or, hi Adam, now look at all my Bitmojis that say, hi Adam.
It's a very popular one.
People are always calling for that. So I'm kind of letting you guys just play around a little bit. Put in like 2 or 3 slides with questions or a prompt, and then I will show you how to Pear Deck it. If you guys want to give me a thumbs up when you've got just a couple of slides ready to go, and I'll know we're ready to move on. Thanks, Deb. Michelle, I got you. Thanks. Thanks, Melissa. All right. I'm going to go up to my what do polar bears eat slide. So pick the slide that you don't have to have a cover slide, but you know, I just feel like that's just the Google slide thing to do. And then you're going to go up here to add-ons and unmute if I need to stop, slow down, you have questions, okay? Add-ons, Pear Deck, open in Pear Deck. Okay, now I can't see any of you, so if you have any, you need us to put the brakes on, speak up, okay? So I'm not going to hit start lesson yet because I don't have anything to share with my kids yet. So right now, here's the template library I was telling you about. So you could click on that and you can find ideas to do beginning, during, or at the end of the lesson. Here's some critical thinking slides, social emotional, some example questions. Here's our little kids, which none of you guys have the little kids, and different content area. So you can absolutely just pluck something from there. Like if I wanted to pluck a science question, Venn diagram, cause and effect. There's and they're already made, they've already indicated to you what the response will be. Like it's going to be a drawing slide. Some of them have, there's one's already a text slide. If you look at those and you don't want any of those, we'll just click back. And if I don't want to use any in the library because I'm making up all my own stuff, I'm going to go back. Now, I don't know if Elkhorn has the free version or the premium version. So maybe you guys can tell me. If you are looking right here, you can see that my draw and my draggable have a star. That means that that's the premium version. I have not paid for that. I only have the free version. So if I wanted to use draw or draggable, I would have to upgrade. However, there's a what's the word, roundabout, a round way around?
Workaround.
Workaround. Thanks, Adam. If you find a draggable in the template library, you can change it. You can change it and just change the words and you can make it be what you want it to be. So like here's a draggable. It automatically embedded itself into my slide deck, but I'm not going to do anything with nouns. I'm only doing polar bears. So you can change this and the draggable will still be down there. So there's a magical workaround. So let's say I'm going to make this one a multiple choice one. What do polar bears eat? You go over here to choice. And you are going to type in your choices here. You can add as many as you want. Update slide. And now you can see that I don't see any of those here. They're not showing up on mine, but they will show up on the student side. Now, let's say, oh, I put fish and seals in there. I don't want them to have to pick two. I just want them to have to pick one. So you can't change it on the slide. You actually have to go back to that multiple choice little icon, and then you can change it. Nobody says you just have to keep it at one. Of course, you know that. You can certainly have them click as many that are right. So if you wanted them to, let's do, I'm going to go to a template because I want to do a drawing slide. And you could see that it's not on my free version. So I'm going to go find a drawing slide. And I'm going to use my Are Polar Bears Mammals? And then I want to do a yes and a no. So I'll just go ahead and use their little icon here, and I'm just going to copy and paste it. And then you can put in a text box. So you guys, really, you're just going to kind of play around with this, just like you would with slides. The only thing is now you have some more options to play with. And now I'm going to have them, I want my circle to be a little bit smaller, so you can play with however you want it to look. Certainly I could have copied and pasted that. That would have been smarter. And then when they see this, it says to draw anywhere on the slide. I could say circle or check the right answer, or put an X, whatever you want them to do. So again, you have the library to choose from, or you can do all of your own. It gets, once you know what you want your slide deck to be, it's just a matter of how the different responses you want your kids to give, and you can do anything you want. You can embed videos, you can embed photos, you can embed text, books, online books, anything, and have kids respond any way you want them to. You could create a video of you on YouTube providing some instruction and then embedding that video into a slide and having them watch that. And then they're going to respond to some questions. All kinds of creative things you can do. So we have 4 minutes. What questions can I answer before I let you leave me?
So the drawing seems to be a premium feature. How do I do just yes, no with just a multiple choice then?
Oh, okay, great question. So I'm gonna go back up here to our polar bears mammals. And I'm just gonna go to multiple choice right here. And we'll just go a yes and a no. And then I'm going to hit this X to get rid of that. And I'm gonna update my slide. And you don't see it on our end, but if you look down here in the notes, you can see that that's there. Your current options are yes, no. So you know it's in there and your kids will see it. Now, if you wanted to, you could always put it in your own slide. So you remember that it's a yes, no question, for example. And I'm not making anything pretty, but you get the idea. So you can always put a text box in, and you can always include your multiple choice on your slide also. But if you don't want to, or you forget to, it will always be in your notes. Just remember, if there's something you want to change, you can't change it down here in the notes. It will not update your slide. You have to go back over to the icon, change it, and then update. Does that help you? Okay, good. How are you guys feeling about this? You think you might be able to use it, get your kids involved with it? Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks, Rachel. If you have any questions or need support, I will be happy to sit with you and we'll create a whole Pear Deck. We can create a whole bunch of them if you want to. So I'm here anytime, Ann Harley at aharley@esu3.org. And feel free to reach out. It's a lot of fun and your kids will really enjoy it. So you guys, I appreciate you being here so much today. Thank you for sharing your last almost hour with me. It's been great.
I put Dr. Harley's email in the chat if you are looking for it.
Thanks, Adam.
Mhm.
Thanks, everybody. Pia, if you want to do a Pear Deck with me later, get in touch. We'll do it.
Annette asked, would you be willing to share your sumo Pear Deck? Do you
Yes, I did share it, but I will reshare it. Can you have that person send her or his email?
Sure, you could also go up and drop the link in the chat.
Oh, see how smart you are.
Yep.
Annette, this has all of it, not just sumo, so you get it all. It's your lucky day.
And then make sure, I don't know if you've shared that with other people, but make sure that share settings are.
It is. It is.
Cool.
Thank you for checking though, Adam. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Annette, make sure you can open that. Oh, Melissa, are you still on? Melissa, I got that from Epic. Are you familiar with Epic? Yeah.
All right, I think we're good.
We good? All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.